Today we have another Sword and Shield market update for you guys. Now there's going to be a lot of stuff on here that isn't going to surprise you at all, and then there's going to be some that probably will. But we're going to start off with the Giratina, and yesterday we talked about Fusion Strike and the Gengar, and I had some comments saying you need to talk about the Giratina, which is one of my favorite cards. So I was like, okay, fine, don't have to force me. I love talking about the Giratina, but we're gonna talk about Lost Origin as well, more of like as a whole set. But something that's very interesting with this card is it just cracked $500. It went from just in the last 3 months, 320 to 500, kind of similar to what the Gengar has been doing, but that's $500 is a really interesting psychological price point. It's starting to get very expensive for a raw copy. I know we're not near like Moonbreon prices, but yeah, 500. If you want to pick one up right now on TCG, the lowest from a reputable seller is 500, so that's about right for the price. We'll check out last solds. There's a 380 on here and a 270. I think this might be a different language. I don't know what the 380 one is, but 500, 600, 470, 500, 475. So kind of fairly consistent-ish market price around 500 for the Giratina. Zoom out to the 1 year, and this is that interesting chart. How this was like 200, 250 for a while. We had the alt art boom in May, ran up to 480, all the way back down to 320, and we've finally eclipsed this old high up to 500. So that's nice to see. It'd be interesting to see the future of this card. Only 18 copies available on TCG right now, so not a ton out there. Super stunning card. I do own this card in a PSA 10, so I'm a big fan of it. Speaking of PSA 10s, last solds 1150, 1285, 1125, 1250. 1190, 1250, 1100, 1200, 1200, and a Portuguese one at 455. So we're going to exclude that. So I would say about 1200 market-ish, give or take a little bit, for PSA 10. So yeah, you're over doubling your money from a $500 card to a $1200 card. That's some pretty good gains to be had there on the Giratina. Now the booster boxes, these are a case where it's not really lining up with Fusion Strike. We'll talk about maybe why that is a little, but it has good gains, right? 21% in the past 3 months from 206 up to 250. $250 box now. That's another good price point for this box to have crossed. Last solds are 250, 290, 250. I don't know what these other ones are. I'm assuming that they're like those loose pack things that people list on here, which once again, TCG, you shouldn't allow that. Make it your own section for it. 250, 260, 260, yeah, so 250, 260 seems about right. So market at 253. I guess that makes sense. The 1 year chart's looking pretty good, 85%. A year ago, well, almost a year ago, in January, 134 was the low, 137 was a year ago, and we ran up to 220. There was like a restock that happened, came back down to 180, back up to 213, back down sub 200, and now we're at a 1 year high, 250 for Lost Origin. So nice to see. I do have Lost Origins, one of my the most invested Sword and Shield set currently for me. That could be subject to change, but for now, yeah, LO for sure. Even have some growth on the aerodactyl, just a little. Not that much, 3%, right? So it went from 98 to 100, back down to 90 and up to 100. This is a nice card. It's a fun, nice Gen 1 Pokemon card. It looks really great in person. It's just not particularly doing the best right now. We'll zoom out a little. You can kind of see. So it was an $80 card for a while, maybe 90, right? Alt Art Boom brought it up to about 140. And then it's came back down to just like barely above these old prices, which is kind of interesting. So it's nice to see it like maybe regain to that $100 mark, because this is a fun card. You're not gonna be mad if you pull this card. But 71 copies available. We're not gonna talk too much about this card, but I just wanted to bring up the aerodactyl. So yeah, I mean, in the last month it is up 4%, so it's bouncing back a little. 17 copies sold, which is a lot more than these other days. Right here at 97. So somebody bought it a lot at 97. They're up a few bucks. Next up, I just wanted to remind you, if you're new to the channel, we're doing a giveaway. If you go to this video 2 weeks ago, I'll also link it at the end. We're doing a giveaway: Surging Sparks booster box, Japanese 151, a PSA 10, and some loose sleeve boosters. So if you want to enter the giveaway, you got to watch this video, like, subscribe, and comment. That's how you enter. And then once we hit 10,000 subscribers, which we're kind of creeping up on now, then I will make a video announcing the winners. So if you want to enter, make sure you watch that video. But back to Lost Origin, I wanted to touch on a few other products as well, stuff we don't always touch on in the videos. We got PC ETBs up. These kind of shot up pretty quick, I feel like. 22%. It went from 70 up to 86. Now, you can see the sales. There's not a ton of sales happening on TCG for this product, but I just wanted to show, it's getting a little bit of growth. ETBs of some of these other sets, like Lost Origin, they haven't really been very popular. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but with booster box prices starting to gain, the other products are slowly going to follow. So that's usually what we see. We got the regular ETBs, but obviously something's happening here. I don't know if this was restocks or what. I haven't really seen any. Maybe it was just the Black Friday sales, I think, that were affecting these. But these are down in the last month, 18%. So it's not everything going up all the time. I'm guessing it was the Black Friday, Target, all of that stuff. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Like, is that what it was? If you guys know, because I wasn't really in on the Black Friday, Target stuff. I know I saw some ETBs. There were some good sales, but I didn't see really what was going on. I kind of missed that. So they're down right now, but 30% up overall on the year. We'll talk about a few more singles too. Interesting, off of the heels of surging, we got a lot of Pikachu hype, but the market's just strong in general. This is a nice card from the trainer gallery. It's up 28%, which is pretty solid for 3 months, from 32 up to 40s. It's kind of come down a little from 42 down just a little to 41. The 1 month chart shows like kind of flat or down just 1%. So 25% growth on the 1 year. You can see it ran up at same time the Giratina did, or maybe a little before it started, but it ran up to about 50 and came back down to 30, which was, see, this one didn't set a higher low, and that's usually what we want to see. This one came back down to this old price of 32, so that's interesting, but it's finally starting to climb in the 40s again. It's a nice Pikachu card. This set is very Pikachu heavy. If you weren't familiar, there's a lot of Pikachu cards. One of them I think is up like 70%. That's coming in a few cards, but this Pikachu V, this is a really great card. Love this card. It's up 17% in the past 3 months. Nothing too crazy. We'll take a look at the 1 year. So this one was about $20 for a while. Then it ran up to 32. Came back down to around 20, but dipped as low as 20. So starting to rebound now. I'd like to see this card get into the $30 range, get close back up to this. And we might be on our way to that. 108 copies available. You can pick one up for 26 from a reputable seller on TCG. Then we have the Sleepachew. The Sleepachew is the one. It's up almost 80%. So that's pretty good. From a low of $4 up to about almost 8. But most recent sale actually is like 11. Then this is where these higher dollar sales happen on these cards. It's like so all over the place. So just to clarify, 11, then 5, then 11, then 8, 7, 11, 6, 5. So definitely all over the place with the sales. There's a lot of copies available, right? 269 copies. It's not a particularly hard card to pull, but artwork wise, I do think that this is a super adorable card. The Sleepachew, he's sleeping with the trainer. They got the Pokeballs all around. They've had a hard day of battling or catching or whatever they've been doing, battling and catching probably. But pretty solid growth on the year. It's had a little run up too in May. It went just from 3 to 5 back down, and now we're up at 7. So that's quite the jump. I don't know if this will be able to hold. It looks like the market is pretty much listing around that $7-8 mark. So for now, it'll hold. But just nice to see a little adorable Pikachu card. Just wanted to give it some attention. And it's not the only. We got the black and gold Chonkachu, the Chonky Boy, 46% growth. And this is pretty common. It's a pretty common theme for a lot of these cards. We're seeing, probably undervalued for a while. They were dirt cheap. We'll pull up the 1 year, and you guys can see from $5 up to about 8. percentage-wise good, dollar-wise, once again, not so much, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's just nice to see if you have this card in your collection or multiple copies. It just makes you feel good. Oh, this card went up like 40%. I'm feeling good about that. Last sold's around 7, 9, 7. I mean, pretty consistent 7s, 8s in the last solds. The 1 year chart. Excuse me, the 1 year chart. Now, this you could. I mean, this one might be a little bit more of an exception. I thought it was going to be a little bit lower. 5. You definitely could have had this at $5 multiple times for quite a while in here. So yeah, I mean, not a crazy jump on this one. The Mew, similar art style on the Mew. So yeah, this set, like, while it has, they're lesser cards value wise. This set has a lot of popular Pokemon, and there's also Gengar, there's also Charizard. Yeah, so we're not talking about those in this video, but it's the last one from the set. Just wanted to mention 50% growth, which is pretty good from five to about almost $9, $8.80. And yeah, similar thing. If you could pick this up, they're keeping the market price pretty consistent around $7-8. Maybe it's coming down a little bit. The 1 year chart didn't really have a big run up earlier, but it was about, it was going 5, 6, 7, and now it's shot up. Yeah, shot up from 530 to 880. So it's on a pretty good little run currently. These cards, I will say this: if you haven't seen these in person, they look great. They're stunning little cards. So they're nice. I like them. I got a few of them, so I'm happy with it. I'm not complaining. We're gonna jump over to another set here. One of my favorites, Brilliant Stars, the Charizard. I gotta give it more attention. Best artwork we've ever had for Charizard, hands down. 43% growth. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Just let me know in the comments what artwork you like better. But I love he's fighting the Venusaur. I love everything. His tail right here, just the mountains, everything about it. Finally, it's still, I think this card has still a long ways to go, but 43% growth in the past 3 months. It went from 130 up to 180. I want to see this crack to 200. I want to see 220, 250 raw at least. I think that's where it deserves to be. 250 at least. 500 in a PSA 10. I know the pop is high. It's over 10,000 in a 10, but I do think that this card deserves it. Charizard fatigue might be playing a factor, but an interesting point on the 1 year, it went from 115 and it hit that 200 in the alt art, like little push that it had, came back down to 120, and now I would like to see it push this 1 year high. It's really what I would like to see. Undervalued card, I still think, but it's a decent set. The boxes are moving right now. We got Brilliant Stars booster boxes moving up 16%. Pretty much all the boxes are moving, so that's not anything really special, but it did crack the $200 price mark, which is why we're really talking about this, from 180 up to 210, 211. And the most recent sale is 220. There's a few in the 220, so this might be pushing a $220 box. So that maybe that can snowball. We saw what Lost Origin is doing. You got Fusion at 300. We're going to talk about Silver Tempest in a second as well. So maybe with these boxes moving up, we can see the Charizard V push up a little as well. I'm not sure, but that would be nice. That's what I would prefer. So yeah, I mean, the 1 year chart on the boxes, 30% growth, very solid from 150 up to 190. Came back down to the 180s for a while, and now getting some popularity. There's also something to be said for Sword and Shield right now. With some of these Scarlet and Violet products, they're starting to get expensive. I mean, I'm talking like surging for sure, more expensive than this. You can pick up Brilliant Stars. That is up to you, but and that's going to happen like more and more. If some of these Sword and Shield boxes lag behind and SV continues to climb, people are going to go back, right? I use the analogy of a carousel. You can only watch it till it goes around, and then once it's on the backside, you're like, oh, what's this over here? And then by the time the backside comes back around, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. That's cheaper than this now. So the carousel analogy happens a lot in the hobby. Also from this set, if you're not familiar, Brilliant Stars actually has a decent little trainer gallery with like a lot of Eeveelutions. I feel like people forget about that sometimes. And this card's not doing the best, but Umbreon VMAX, I mean, it's doing okay, 13%. It's kind of fluctuated in this little channel right here, but it's around $35. And the 1 year shows it ran up big to around, I think it was 50, 60 bucks. Yeah. Went from 20 to 60, but it did set a higher low, which is really healthy and what we like to see. So the old low was in the 20s. Now the new low is in the 30s, and it's ran up a little. I'd like to see it get back to this at some point, but these trainer gallery cards are easier to pull, but there's only 78 copies available on TCG. So pretty consistent sales, though. We're all 35s for the most part. There's some higher 40, few a little lower at 33. So just a fun, nice, more affordable Umbreon. Also, the Arceus is up from this set. This is not well, artwork wise, I actually really like. I think this is a fun card, but it's maybe not the strongest from the set. I feel like it goes. There's a few sets in this era that have like nice, really nice top tier chase cards, and then the trainer gallery is like decent or and this may be one of those sets, but it's up 33%. The Arceus from 24 up to around $33, kind of coming off that 33 just a little. 69 copies available currently, and this did run up just like most of the other cards to around 57 bucks, and it's came down. See, this one, it set a lower low, kind of, or about, no, a little higher technically, but yeah, so this card didn't fare off very well off of this boom, so not super surprising there. There's also just the Umbreon V. It's just another fun trainer card. 12% gains, nothing crazy. It's a $22 card. It's another Umbreon. Just wanted to give it some attention. And we'll just take a look at the 1 year for a second. Now, this one did set a higher low. This was a $14, $15 card for a while. It ran up to around 50. This is the one that went to 50. I knew one of them was 50. And then it slowly trickled off back down to 17, which would still be a higher low than back here, but barely. And then it's rebounded off into the 22 range, which is nice to see. There's also a Sylveon. There's other Eeveelutions from the set that we're going to get to in a second as well. But Sylveon V, just a little 15% pop. Nothing crazy. 17 to 20. So pretty decent there. You're going to see a similar trend. 1 year went from, 12 was the low. Ran up to 26. And then set a new higher low at around 17, 18, and now it's in the 20s, so that's nice to see. There's also the Mimikyu. The Mimikyu's up 50% in the past 3 months, so much better gains from 11 up to about, it hit 19, 18 about market currently. 100 copies available. This is just a fun artwork. Art-wise, everything about this card's pretty fun, so I see why this card's doing well. The chart, though, you can see it kind of dipped back down to it went back down to 11, and before that it was 10, 11 bucks, ran up to 28, but it has recovered fairly decently since then, so that's nice to see. But man, some of these, I feel bad if anybody bought here because it really just fell off, but that is the unfortunate thing of the market. It can do that to you. It can burn you pretty quick, and well, I guess not pretty quick. It was a pretty slow burn from May to October there. There's also just the regular Eeveelutions. I got the yellow borders on these. And some of these are seeing some pretty big gains, just like the Vaporeon here. Almost 70%. Dollar-wise, it's not going to do it, but percentage-wise, those are solid gains from... This was a $3 card up to, in the sixes, like high 680. Last solds, though, are kind of all over the place. We're seeing a lot lower than that. There's 12, 8, 5, 3, 4. Once again, these cards are just a little too easy to pull. I wish they would have made these trainer gallery cards a little more difficult. These cards... because these arts are really great, I feel like they deserve just like a little bit more rarity to them or something. So it's kind of a pity that they're in the trainer galleries, but same time, it does make opening the boxes more fun because you're getting some nice arts. But Vaporeon, almost 70% growth. That's pretty good. The 1 year chart, this surpassed this 1 year high. So it was about 6. Now it was 650. Now we're at 680. So just barely surpassed that previous. The low, you could add this for $2. $2.40 was the low on the Vaporeon. We also have the Eevee seeing similar gains, 70%. Once again, these aren't big dollar cards. I know we got some. There's some more coming up towards the end. Don't worry. We'll go through this a little quicker. Now this card's just more steady growth, 234%. So it was a $1.80, $2 for a long time, and it's just slowly chugged up to around $6. Last solds are definitely lower than that. We're seeing 4, 5, 6, 8, like all over the place. So maybe 6 is accurate, but sales kind of all over the place. There's also an adorable Flareon card, Flareon Trainer, 38%, went from 3 up to 5. These are just nice arts. These are great looking cards. They just don't have the value attached to them that you want. 98% growth, a steady chug on the 1 year, from 2 slowly over time up to 5. That's some pretty solid growth. The Jolteon as well, another fun one. 76% in the past 3 months alone, from 270 up to 5. Market's at 480. Most recent sale is actually 525. Before that, 4, 5, 4, and 5. This one's more consistent of these cards, I would say, based off of those last solds. 140%, pretty solid growth on the 1 year. Now we're gonna get to something just a little bit more juicy. I'm gonna jump back over to Silver Tempest with the Lugia. Now the Lugia seems like it's like leveling out just a little bit off of this 35% growth, 160 like 3 months ago, up to the 220s, and it's kind of just been at the 220s since the beginning of the month, about December 4th. So it's holding strong. That's nice to see. We do have the most recent sale is actually a little higher at a 270. Before that, 220, 220, 220, 240, 260 is low twos. So I'd say 220 market might be pretty appropriate. 65 copies available, which seems like kind of a lot for an alt art on the market. Absolutely stunning artwork. Love everything about this. I'm getting the shiny Gyarados vibes with the dude in the boat chilling underneath. Yeah, stunning card. But if you want to pick one up right now, 220 is what you're going to pay from a reputable seller. So that's market. So it's probably not going up right now. Maybe it might cool off for a little bit. Booster boxes though are doing really well. Now these just sold out in the Pokemon Center not that long ago. Market was already above that. You could have got these for like 157 TCG 3 months ago. Pokemon Center, they were 143. So if you want to use that, it went from 143 up to 180. Most recent sales at 195. Before that, we're seeing a lot of 140s, 180s. There's some 190s back here as well. But this is an interesting time. If this can crack a $200 box, I think that would be very interesting as well. It's just a matter of time. How long is it going to take? We obviously know it's going to get there. But Silver Tempest, let's zoom out to the 1 year on this box. Get a better look for things. Yeah. I mean, 50% return in the past year is really great. And even more if you go off of this point. From a low of 121, ran up to the 160s, came back down into the 150s for a blip, and now we're pushing towards 200 on Silver Tempest. This is one of those where it kind of same thing of really amazing chase card and then kind of just falls off. This trainer gallery of this set's probably pretty weak, one of the weakest in my opinion. Like at least the Brilliant Stars has like some really popular Pokemon, and so does Lost Origin. Lost Origin has a lot actually. This is probably the weaker, but the chase card is so good. It does have a Rayquaza in the trainer gallery. This is a really nice card. Up 34%. It went from 30 up to 40, around 41. So this is a nice card. It's nice to see. I like this card a lot. It was, let's see, for a long time, 30, pretty much around 30. Ran up to 52, and the little alt art boom came back down to around that 29 again. So it's rebounded off of that 29, getting back up to that $40 mark. So I'd like to see it get closer to that 50, see if it can hold or surpass that previous high. We also have ETBs. These are the Pokemon Center ETBs getting a little bit of traction for Silver Tempest, from 78 up to around $90. Most recent sales higher than that, 106, 120, and 112. So with only 12 listed, you would think that these would probably be on their way up a little more, definitely over 100 for the PC ETBs. And these were, yeah, in the 70s for a long time. So all that growth is pretty recent on there. But that's not the only thing. Once again, regular ETBs kind of struggling, down 3%. And it's just a matter of time for these guys. You give the booster boxes more time, let them run. Regular ETBs will get their gains eventually. You see that happen a lot. 20% over the past year is not bad though. Low of 26. So yeah, these were really cheap at 26. They ran back up to 38, back down to 31, and it's another around 37. Most recent was 41. 37. There was a 50 sale in there for a regular ETB, so that's interesting as well. But yeah, in summary, a lot of these sets doing well. The bull market is just pushing everything, so it's not super surprising to see for some of them, but just wanted to do another update. Lost Origin, love that set. The Giratina, I do own that card in a PSA 10, so happy to see that card going up in value. And we know about the Brilliant Stars Charizard, and you guys know how I feel, so nice to see that as well. Whenever that continues to move, I will include it in videos, because I cannot help myself. If you're this far in the video and you're not already subscribed and you didn't subscribe when I told you to go check out the other video, that's okay, but you obviously enjoyed it. Do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button, maybe enable notifications, and doing daily Pokemon investing and collecting updates. I'll catch you guys in the next one. It is Christmas Eve morning, so I'm wearing my festive "'Twas Never a Phase" shirt, sweater rather. If you guys want to pick one up, I'm not going to get to you by Christmas, so sorry. But hope you guys have a great Christmas, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning on Christmas, and I'm going to record another video. We don't skip days here. Catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.